Name of the case is Coyote vs ACME.
Also, what a baffling premise for a movie, but I love it a lot. And it's all based off of a real New York Times article someone just made for fun. Sorry, I say New York Times, I meant New Yorker. To take such an original premise and actually run with it is so nice, man. Looney Tunes is so old that it can just run with boring old bits again and again. Like, ironically, we also are going to cover the Tom and Jerry trailer this week that looks tried and true but kind of done before. So to see them doing something bold, God, they're never going to do anything like this again, are they? They already tried to cancel this. Today's the day! And what a brilliant day it is! One that we possibly thought was never going to happen. Wile vs. Coyote is finally real, and the trailer has finally released. This movie has gone through an incredible journey of problems, development hell, and final success at the end of the road. Although I guess maybe the story's not entirely over just yet, it's not quite out and making profit. But this is easily, for me, one of my most anticipated movies this year, and for a multitude of reasons. Looney Tunes in general has been a little bit of an underdog in this century, with one of its biggest problems being the fact that it's handled by Warner Brothers, who have continued to mismanage, flub, and outright archive a whole chunk of their filmography for who knows whatever reason. And probably Coyote vs. ACME is the most notorious example, as Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav famously decided to scrap this entire movie after it was finished in order to make it all one giant tax write-off. This now is not even being handled necessarily by Warner Brothers, as much as they got all the bells, whistles, logos, and licensing. This is actually being produced by Ketchup Entertainment, who picked up the rights for this film after Warner Brothers left it on the chopping room floor. They also did the same with Looney Tunes The Day the Earth Blew Up. These guys, they're just the goats, giving us demonstrably absolute animated cinema when the main company owning them simply just doesn't feel like it. And more optimism can come from the fact that we know reviews for this movie are already high. As reportedly, Wile vs. Coyote was revealed at a film festival where all sorts of insiders and mainline industry directors were able to witness this film, and they had all sorts of praises to say. So now we finally get our eyes on, and it is just glorious. Damn. Roadrunner has never looked more dynamic. I actually am so on board with this style. There's been a few times I've talked about Coyote vs. ACME. It's been a long-running, cancelled fiasco. And I always remember when I had the shuffled footage for all the different projects they had, it came in vastly different animation styles. I was particularly quite fond of a particularly well-done 3D design that this doesn't have. But it certainly looks better than some of the other versions of 3D that they have done that came out a little bit more flat. This, even if they don't keep it, maybe this is just the segment at the start that has this look. I'm so on board, man. I'm so on board. One of the very first things that caught me by surprise is the fact that this is actually a 3D animated movie. After seeing all sorts of screenshots for the movie whilst it was in development hell, I really did think it was going to be a proper Looney Tunes back in action style of paper-thin characters in a realistic world, and then even more pulled back and flatter without any shading based on the real world, lighting directions. But no, turns out it's doing a bit of a Chip and Dale. These are 3D animated characters painted over with a cel-shaded aesthetic. That is my absolute favorite, I'm gonna be honest. Oh, there he is. Our golden boy is actually here. And hey, I'm actually surprised. It's like, it is 2D, but there's a little bit of that shading to make it nice and 3D. Brilliant. It seems to be a very nice, simple enough blend that really, really works. I'm a big fan of Looney Tunes back in action, but the shading goes crazy, and I'm sure that's hard to handle all the time for every single frame. This feels a little bit more pulled back than that. Doesn't need to go full Roger Rabbit, but still visually pleasing. I'm just glad to see the guy on the screen, man. Oh, in fact, never mind. He is not 2D at all. This is a 3D model with, like, proper cartoon cell shading? Oh, I love this. This is my jam. I love tunes. I love cell shaded. Oh, this is brilliant. Now, even just going back to the world of Looney Tunes is something I've not really done in a good long while, because movies are rare, far and few between, and they're on HBO Max or whatever, and that's not available in the UK. The last thing I saw was Space Jam 2, which visually, great stuff as well in a lot of ways. But this movie really felt like an iconic, classic Looney Tunes film. Oh man, and like, look at the madness. Oh, high quality CGI madness. What does Roadrunner think about this? Is Roadrunner really on the side of Acme? Is Roadrunner a real villain? Or is Roadrunner actually gonna kind of be on his side, in a sense? So much to explore with their relationship. If only we had 2 hours, eh? I have big nostalgic memories of Space Jam 1 and Looney Tunes back in action. So to see the Looney Tunes universe done well, with nice original gags and actual slapstick visual humor that is somewhat less rare in the modern day, is so refreshingly reminiscent. I don't think I was gonna voice them anyway, but I don't even think I can really find a real critique from this movie trailer. Only praises in even more directions, like the surprisingly meta direction. Maybe it's the marketing team taking a bit of a poking their tongue out at Warner Brothers themselves, but there's some things you can read out of this.
These companies think they can do whatever they want.
How ironic, huh? If anything, this is the perfect movie to be making statements like this. It is practically meta-narrative at this point.
Nothing to see here.
Damn, isn't it crazy how, like, relevant as well some of this seems to get? A whole page full of redactions, wow. They could predict the future on that, eh? How long has this movie been in development?
If anything were to become public.
It's literally called the Acme Cartoon Files. Oh, and actually, in being a little bit more direct, in the trailer teaser, not the teaser trailer that released yesterday, talking about the fact that this trailer will exist, which I only just realized actually does have some exclusive footage that's not in this. I skipped it because I assumed it would be a generic one. But I did see at least one bit that outright calls out the tax write-off drama connected to David Zaslav and this movie. Oh, I saw that. WAG, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Acme Corporation, huh? Wait, so does that mean this whole movie is one big propaganda piece? Acme owns the media? Oh my god. Acme itself is David Zaslav. Now we're getting meta. To have that kind of cheeky, poking fun at yourself meta-narrative is so like nice. It's nice to be on the inside of a joke. And to me, this genuinely feels like this could be some sort of renaissance of Looney Tunes. Even if it takes Ketchup Entertainment consistently picking up the scraps of what Warner Brothers is intentionally sabotaging and shattering everywhere. It's just brilliantly done.
You've been horribly injured by a product made by the Acme.
Oh man, I love this blending they're doing. I honestly thought from all the screenshots we saw of John Cena and Wile E. Coyote so far, I really thought it was just straight 2D pencil work that would, he looks like a paper character. So to see him with actual 3D animation, I really enjoy. And then they're still mixing it brilliantly with realism. He's on the TV, and he's going to interact with humans in this world. I love when Looney Tunes does this. Back in action. Mwah. Space Jam. Mwah. Space Jam 2. Sure. Mwah. Oh, this is a good one. We know it's a good one, but I'm seeing it with my own eyes. It's a good one. Hey there! Thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more animated movie trailers. We will get around to the Coyote vs. Acme review when it releases this summer. And I wouldn't be surprised if we make an amazing about it sometime in like October, November time as well. It's a great time to be a Looney Tunes fan. And in some form or another, they're actually back. Anyway, now let's get back on to the second half of this video.
And all of his injuries are self-inflicted.
And actually doing a dissection of who is at fault. Like, I guess there's something to be said there. All of his injuries are self-inflicted because he set off the sabotaged piece of equipment? Interesting take. And more so than that, what do you know? All sorts of Looney Tunes are in the Coyote movie. This is just a Looney Tunes movie.
You've been settling
Hey, wow, okay. In any other reality, Porky Pig is dead. But also, hey, Porky Pig's actually in this. I really hope this movie pops off because it could be like a real Looney Tunes renaissance in a sense. Because it is all kind of a cinematic universe of its own. I'm like, oh, I saw Porky Pig recently in his movie. It's nice to see him again, you know?
We're sick of it.
Acme, you.
Whoa, hold on. Donald Duck? Daffy Duck? Daffy, Donald, Daffy, Donald, Daffy. Good lord, it's been so long I can't even remember which one's which. I'm so... what's wrong with me? But seriously, Daffy Duck is actually in this movie? That's It's like I'm a Marvel fan at this point. Oh my god, the character in this universe is in this universe? But that's so nice. It is funny because it's also at a time when Looney Tunes is afraid to show Bugs Bunny because like he's so main character that they don't want him to be there. They're afraid to do his movie. But the more Looney Tunes you can show us, the better, man, because it works. I just know I'm gonna really enjoy my time here. It's just such a classic. It feels like a modern classic. It's funny, there's literally even a part in my trailer reaction just now where I said, oh, they're not gonna put Bugs Bunny in, he's too much of a main character, he's getting his own movie, and then they're maybe not doing that, they don't want to, you know, they're scared. Cut to like a couple minutes later, and you'll never guess who shows up.
So, what is up, Doc?
Wow, a really just Marvel movie. There's me saying, oh, Bugs Bunny doesn't appear in this damn thing. No, they're gonna actually... No wonder they cancelled it. They're too afraid to actually bite the bullet or the carrot. Oh, but that's so good to see. Bugs Bunny again since Space Jam 2, if you even want to acknowledge that movie. Yeah, this isn't a Coyote movie anymore. It's just Looney Tunes in general, and that is the best case scenario, honestly. Ah, what an all-rounder. Ah, finally. Nice. To be fair, Bugs Bunny's not my favorite character. It is actually Wile E. Coyote. I love the original Coyote versus the Roadrunner cartoons. That is my bread and butter stuff. So the very fact that he's the actual focus of this movie, incredible stuff, to me personally. But the surprise of actually seeing Bugs Bunny in his Marvel announcement, or Daffy Duck as well, who I haven't seen in so long, I just forgot his name. It happens. You know, I'm getting old. And even the characters that I'm aware of but haven't watched directly their things, with Foghorn Leghorn, another character I forgot his name. I'm sorry, I've become a normie. We never see any of the Looney Tunes, and that's Warner Brothers' fault.
We both know it would be very unpleasant.
Oh, I love him. I don't know him. I didn't watch his cartoon specifically, but like, such an iconic character that I cannot name. The voice acting performance is brilliant. He's one of the billionaires, I guess. Alright, cool. Yeah, man. I mean, of course, a Looney Tunes movie's not going to set itself entirely in a courtroom. It's going to do some loony things in every other environment. But it just looks like a good time throughout, and it's all 3D. Wow, I thought this was going to be like a, I'll make this video anyway, despite it not being quite in my field. No, it's pretty in my field, and I love that. Still, love the idea that he's like one of the higher-ups, and also, it's generic evil company man, but in the modern day, God, it feels a little Epstein-y, doesn't it? Which is, in a weird way, incredibly funny for a cartoon to cover Epstein-y topics. Like, that's actually dark humor, but really funny.
We do not condone any of the storylines depicted.
Oh, okay, that's why. That explains it. It's not a propaganda piece. It's a hit piece that they allow for some reason. Absolutely incredible. Wow. Maybe on some front, Warner Brothers is back. As much as they tried to bury it, so maybe it's everything except Warner Brothers. They really are the Acme of themselves. All across the board, it seems this movie is just firing on all cylinders and perfectly balancing all the different possible red flags that could pop up. This is a story about a lawsuit, but you don't want to have the whole film inside of a lawyer's room the whole time with a main character that can't speak. That sounds boring as hell.
Is Coyote
Genius. Have brain, will travel. That's all you need to know. Back in his day, it was a lot easier to get a job.
versus Acme?
Oh, I love it. He's still going to be, as well, a silent character. Of course, mandatory. That means we're actually going to get slapstick visual humor in a movie? Oh, it's been so long, somewhat. Loved just everything of this vibe. So, of course, you've got to have a human protagonist, like they usually do have in these live-action hybrid movies, and a million different antics out in the real world. It makes me ask questions about how this universe works, like with a little bit of Roger Rabbit logic and pianos.
Hello.
Damn. Does it make a difference if it's a cartoon piano or a real piano? Is it only a real piano could kill you? Again, I'm starting to bring up like Roger Rabbit questions. Can you kill a human with tune logic? Like, would that have killed him? Surely, right? Surely it would be just like Final Destinationing him. Also, I've only just noticed, love the Acme logo in the background on the vans. A little anvil and the A. Mwah. You can so tell this movie was made with love. You can so understand why it was the first to be on the chopping block. But that's also just way more of the fun that I feel is kind of taken away from Space Jam movies. You know, they're so focused on a topic of a sport that you don't get to see the Looney Tunes do all of their Looney Tunes thing.
He is reckless.
I mean, to be fair, he did come in with a massive pile of dynamite. Like, at what point in the real world do we call Wile E. Coyote a terrorist? But yeah, sure. Gotta love clashing toon logic with the real world logic.
You've been settling Acme cases for years.
Interesting. So this is like a lawyer that goes out of their way, or a prosecutor maybe, that goes out of their way to target Acme. That's cool. That's nice. He wants to make a lot of profit off of the toons. Understandable. I assume this movie's gonna just start outright with a new original Roadrunner and Coyote cartoon in its new 3D aesthetic. And that first opening minute and a half is gonna be some of my absolute favorite before the actual cinematic experience begins. I am so pleased that I can stand here today and get eyes on a video form of Coyote vs. Acme. And I didn't even have to go around and pirate it to make it happen. This movie was already produced with so much love and attention put into it. It's clearly a love letter of all things Looney Tunes, and seemingly an open door for a whole revival of the whole IP that Warner Brothers just doesn't want to keep up. But dedicated fans and passionate industry people made sure it didn't actually die on the cutting room floor. And I think even on a meta level like that, the narrative behind this movie is just so wholesome and lovely. Also, John Cena's in the movie, and it's so funny. This movie has so much loud things going on. He's practically hard to notice in this trailer. I don't have any comments about him. Not in my reaction. Oh, nice. Oh, you know what also is nice with this? They do a hint of the Roger Rabbit shading. Generally, you know, they've not had, like, the shadows on their models in relation to the sunlight in the scene. They don't need to go that crazy. Just being able to see them with their own universal shading's fine enough. But that fire, it glows him up. That's nice. That's all you need. You only need the context some of the time. Brilliant stuff. And technically easy to do, I guess, on a 3D model than a 2D one. So, but I love it. Love all of it. It is kind of a crazy threat, though, in a board meeting. But at the end of the day, this is just a great day, the good ending, and a very obvious fun time come sometime this summer, this year. Coyote vs. Acme is indeed real, uncancelled, finished, and coming to us all very soon. Catch Up Entertainment, keep doing what you're doing. Presuming there are going to be more cutting room floors of Warner Brothers' mistakes. Or who knows, maybe this movie doing well in its own little bubble means Warner Brothers will be forced to actually make more movies. Is that not kind of the point of the corporation in the first place? I guess we'll have to see. Best case scenario though, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. On that note though, I shall finally end things off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell us your thoughts on what you think of this Coyote vs. Acme trailer. Or hey, if you're interested in hearing the whole timeline of this development when it was cancelled or in limbo, we've got all sorts of video coverages on those news updates. I'll link it down in the description if you're interested. But otherwise, I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!